Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining this town hall. My name is Karim Al-Arabi. I am the Secretary of the American Society for Muslims in Architecture. I'd like to welcome you all in this really important event, which we really have created for this really intentional effort to have your say about the American Society for Muslims in Architecture to continue building this community up. So it's really pleasing to see that you all have decided to take some time to join us today. This is going to be a participatory event, really from the start. And please, tell us what you think and participate with us in this activity, which we will have in a sort of participatory exercise at the end. But before we do that, we have a very brief presentation for you, really about the organization, what it's about, why it was formed, and we'll also have some announcements at the end. I see some in the Zoom that are already familiar with us and have already participated in some of our events or have joined us in our socials. Some of you all are kind of newer to this, and it's really great to see that the community kind of growing and the interest growing with it as well. So this presentation is really meant to be a sort of primer for what our organization stands for. So before I hand it over to our presenters today, I will note that we will accept any questions or comments coming in from our chat function on Zoom. Sister Tasneem will keep tabs on the chat. She's waving hi if you're seeing her, and we'll address them inshallah as we move on with this event. Without further ado, I will hand it over to Sister Mira Abdullah. But first, Brother Taha Suhrawardi, both of whom are the co-founders of ASMA.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Taha. Mira and I are the co-presidents, co-founders of ASMA. This is our board currently. And we will be hearing from most of us by the end of today. But before we influence you in any way, we want to jump to an activity, get everybody involved, regardless of what you've heard, what you haven't heard, we want to get your thoughts on what comes to your mind when you think about a professional organization for Muslim designers, Muslim architects. So we're going to jump to this Menti here, and we're going to create a word cloud of everything that comes to our mind, right? What's important to us. So as these words start coming in, I want to point out a couple of things and start talking through it. You guys can keep putting in your thoughts. But when we started putting this organization together, we kind of did this activity. We did the proof of concept of what does this organization look like? What does it mean? How can it serve? How can we make it purposeful? So we did this activity too, and it's kind of funny the overlap that we have. We'll show you our word cloud in a second, but I want some of these to keep coming through and us to kind of look at what these are. I'm going to read some of these aloud. Some of the biggest ones are community, empowerment, strength, diversity, peace, home, inclusiveness, safe space, community. So we're looking at a lot of common themes here, but also what's interesting to me is there are some new terms that I wouldn't have thought of, right? So like peace is one of them, safety,
Voice.
home, and I think it's a beautiful one. Having a voice. So Kareem, let's jump to the other one, and we'll see what the board and ASMA members up to today, what we've come with. So there's a lot of overlap here. There's community and empowerment. Those are some of the biggest ones that we have. But we also have these other ideas of knowledge, of like excelling in practice, and then serving, giving back. So outreach and collaborations and connections. So I think that this is a really great moment where we can kind of think about what the organization, how can it serve everybody? How can it serve folks? How can it be productive? So now if we take all of these ideas and we kind of refine it and make it a targeted mission, the organization becomes centered around a community, and we want to empower that community, we want to unite that community, and we want to advocate for that community. And that community is obviously the Muslims within the field of architecture. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to accomplish this? We want to do it through three basic ideas. One is growth and knowledge, where we are empowering ourselves through making us better designers, giving us better resources, sharing those with each other, having that community for us to rely on each other. We also want to advocate for ourselves, whether it's in making better designs, right? Better architecture, or whether it's for us as practitioners within the field of architecture. And then also we want to think about how do we, as Muslim architects, how are we in service of the broader ummah? And even those who are not Muslim, but are architects, right? So we want to make ourselves really, really good designers. And that's what we learn in architecture school, right? We think about the ethic, being an ethical designer and serving the community, whatever. So um, we want to contribute to that in our way. I want to take a moment to talk about some of the experiences that I've had, and Mira can share with this as well. I know a lot of people here who have gone to University of Michigan and have taken an architecture history class can attest to the fact that all of Islamic architecture, right, 1400 years of it across dozens of different cultures, is crammed into 1.5 lecture. This is such an injustice, and it feels so. It feels kind of suppressive to us and to our identity, to our architectural heritage. And what we want to do is we want to reclaim that. We want to be able to expose ourselves to the breadth of architecture, to acquire that nuance. Now, that for us who are in school right now, or maybe young professionals, we can really relate to this. And then there are other people who are Muslim architects who are pretty deep into the practice and they're very successful, mashallah, and that's great. But I think it's also helpful to stop for a moment and hypothesize what might that career have looked like if we had that level of nuance, if we had that community, if we had that camaraderie from day one, where would our career be? How might it be different in maybe a way that serves us better?
Right. So, kind of going off of this idea of how we are served better by building up this community. There's something that we kind of realized collectively as we have been working on this organization over the past 14, 15 months since the first interest meeting that we had, right? So we have had events and opportunities to connect on socials, etc. What we realized is a lot of the interaction comes from younger folks, undergraduate students, graduate students, emerging professionals. And we also realized that the community as a whole, at least with the sample size that we have been kind of exposed with over the last few months, is small, young, and growing quite quickly from the base. Meaning that if you think about the amount of time that it would take to elevate from undergraduate to graduate or to become a licensed architect, typically it takes 8 to 11 years to become a licensed architect in the United States. Within that amount of time, there's a growing interest in growing the pipeline really from the ground. So there's a really this kind of grassroots feeling to how this community is starting to build up, which means that we can have a greater and greater impact in the future. So I think ASMA is coming in at a really interesting time where we can quite influence that growth and we can start to establish a unified cohort of Muslim designers and architects and designers in spatial design disciplines such as interior design, landscape architecture, urban design, and others in order to continue to have a greater impact over time. So that idea of community building really has been at the center of what we have tried to get to and we tried to accomplish over the course of the last year and some months, really from the beginning. The bottom left image is from our very first interest meeting in August 2023. And to look back now and see how much we have been able to accomplish and how much potential there is, really sensing from the amount of participation that we have and the amount of interest that is getting garnered of participating in this effort collectively over the scale of the nation. It's really interesting and really cool to see. We've had a few gatherings. We have had one as well at the University of Michigan, but we've had a couple of iftars in Ramadan. And that community growth is really cool because we kind of started to discover people. We started to discover each other and discover our realms and discover our experiences. One aspect of this sort of participation that we have also tried to nurture is through one of our main vision points, which is growth and knowledge. In June, we had an absolute honor of being joined by Mariam Abu Hadid, who is an architect and researcher who joined in from Egypt. And she started to relay to us the research and architectural design work that she has made over the years, most notably inspired by architectural patterns, Islamic patterns that have been evolving over the course of the last few centuries. And you can view this lecture, an edited version of this lecture, up on our website. If you go to asma.ee, you will find our ASMA blog, and you can view this as a blog among other listings that we have published over the last few months. We'll drop a link to our website here in the chat as well.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mira. I am also co-president, co-founder of ASMA along with Taha. Going off of some of the things that Kareem has mentioned, as we build up this community of Muslims in the field of architecture, and then as we build up our knowledge base of really understanding what it means to be a Muslim in architecture and what our architectural heritage is, we begin to establish this power for advocacy. So this might be advocating for ourselves in the profession of architecture, but it also might be advocating for Muslims in the built environment, in the spaces we design, or Muslims on a larger scale that are inevitably impacted by the types of work that we do and that we learn about as architects. So through building up this collective, we have the ability to push for visibility of issues that are often left out of mainstream architectural discourse. Some examples of this can be seen in like some of the events that we've done with various NOMA chapters over the past year. So on the left, we did this event with VA NOMA and NC NOMA, where we collaborated for an Arab American Heritage Month feature of Janine Kutub, a very accomplished and established, mashallah, Palestinian Egyptian architect who has done so much for the industry in terms of pushing, you know, her like this minority group forward. And so having a conversation about her experience and her identity in the workforce was a really eye-opening and empowering experience. And then also we worked with NOMA Detroit, some people here are part of that, in the past year, in which we did this Gaza research project and specifically highlighted some of the most historically significant masajid in Gaza that were destroyed over the past year, in order to, you know, bring this issue to the forefront of architects that, you know, so much heritage is being destroyed. And this is something that we as a profession, as an industry, need to be paying attention to. So as we were doing some of these advocacy efforts, we continuously came into the same problem in which there is such a lack of research and literature about Islamic architecture in this profession. As you guys may know, if you research a church, there's often so much information, so many different articles about the same church, but such is not the case for Islamic architecture. And so something that we really want to do with this organization is use it as an opportunity to build up research and not only educate ourselves as Muslims in the profession, but give back to, you know, the larger profession and push forward for the growth of the industry. And so one way that we are starting to do this, we're pretty excited to announce that we are launching an initiative called ASMA's Bookshelf, coming soon to our website, in which we will be posting a variety of books, articles, and other just references that we can access in order to learn more about our Islamic heritage and architecture. And speaking of announcements, in addition to our bookshelf, we also have some other exciting things coming up that we'd like to share with you all. So as I had just mentioned, we are really excited about growing our ability to research as an organization. And in order to do that, we're founding a research committee in addition to our other committees, which I'll talk about in a minute. We also are recruiting for a new board position, which is a research director. We're hoping to find a PhD or someone that has research experience So if you're interested in that and have experience, please feel free to apply. We also are excited to announce that we are officially a nonprofit. This is something, this is something that we have been working on for the past year, so we're really excited to finally be able to announce that. And then in the next month, in November, we will be planning a career development focused event, so stay tuned for that. And finally, we're very excited to announce that we have a newsletter that should be coming to your inboxes every month starting in November if you all sign up. So sign up on our website in order to receive monthly updates about what's happening at ASMA and ways to get involved. Speaking of ways to get involved, we have quite a few. Right now we have a mentorship program that is active. So if you're interested, signups are still open. So if you would like to have a mentor or to be a mentor to somebody, please go ahead and sign up. And then committees, we have a range of committees that are a really great way to not only be like a member of ASMA, but to be an active part of shaping what ASMA will become in the future. So if you're interested in any of these, we have research, as I mentioned. We are planning to do a conference, hopefully in the next year or so. So if you're interested in being involved in planning that, there's a committee for that. Outreach and fundraising, because we really need more funds in order to support more robust events and activities. And then if you would like to plan those activities or to be on our media, engaging different members of various demographics, there are all these opportunities. So I just threw out a bunch of ways to get involved. Our Linktree is the one-stop shop for everything you need, ASMA related. Here you can find our website, our WhatsApp group, our newsletter, committee application forms. So please go ahead and take a picture of this slide. Also, we would highly recommend you join the WhatsApp group if you aren't in it yet. This is where we tend to send out most of our updates. So, you know, all of these places are really good to like collect information and to know what's going on with ASMA. And we would also love to have you all in the WhatsApp group. So just give you guys a second to scan that, take a picture of it if you haven't.
And while we're at that, I wanted to just give a special shout out to everybody who's joining us within the ASMA board. If you go to the American Society for Muslims in Architecture website and scroll down, all the beautiful faces are there. And we have, I think all of us are here in the Zoom as well. Zen is here at the room in the University of Michigan, as well as we have Tasneem Abu Ayash, Aya Abul Hayja, Arish Shaheen, and did I forget anybody? Tasneem Abu Ayash is here.
Tasneem
Tulaymet. I didn't remember which Tasneem was. And yes, and at the bottom you will also notice the link to the research director position. So you can sign up right from there.
So now I would love to hand over the floor to Arij to lead us, Arij and Tasneem, who is on our online Zoom session, to lead us in the most important part of this event, which is the open discussion and conversation.
The people who are on Zoom or in person here, do you guys want to have like a second to grab coffee or tea or water? Right. So if you could scan the QR code, and we're going to start with a question. Right, so the first question is, what does a Muslim architecture organization mean to you? That's before you heard about what we're trying to do, what's our vision, what we are working on, and we would like to hear more about what you think about ASMA. So the first question that we're going to start our conversation with is, what do you hope to get out of joining an organization like ASMA? So what you're looking for. You heard a lot of things that we are offering, that we were working on for the past year, but what would you hope to get out from being in a community like ASMA, in an organization? We have networking. This is very important. Getting connected with other established Muslim architects, that's fun. Influencing academic curriculums, that's pretty good. Empowering the Muslim community, more access to presidents. Okay, that's
the list is getting so long. I'm needing to scroll. Just great.
Make friends. We want to do that. It's very hard when you get out of school to make friends. So Yes, we want to do that.
Yeah.
Bring it properly represented. Okay, supporting and bring support. Okay, that's nice. Thank you so much. All right.
And if anybody has any thoughts, you could share with us in chat, or this is an open conversation. As I said, you could speak up as well.
Just an open conversation.
Yeah, also, this is not only,
Research.
for us to see, but also we're hoping to fold all of this into like what we continue to do in ESMA. So like, if anyone feels really passionately about something, please share like why you put it so that we can hear and know how to fold it in.
Right. If you want to share, you can open your
I
mind.
have a few more responses here, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
having
people are
the
still typing.
community as close as possible to AIA.
Hey,
Whoa.
Oh.
be bigger than AIA.
Yes. Guidance in the field, especially advice that comes from people with similar experiences just by being Muslim. We love this. Okay, that's great. Should we go to our next question? All right, and I think on your phone you just need to just hit next question and you will be able to see it. Okay, what type of events would you like to see and participate? So I'm charging me and Tasneem here. We're charging the events and we really wanted to make it happen. We try every month to have one event, so monthly events, and we would like for you guys to see. Oh, okay, social events, competition. That's a good one. That's a new one. Networking events, meet and greet. Okay, lectures, portfolio reviews. Okay, they're giving me.
Hey.
Stick around, fellas.
Book talk. Okay, that's could be something, a book club.
Muslim firm visit.
Wow.
Oh, firm visits.
Oh,
That's too.
Does anybody know a Muslim owned firm?
There is a Muslim-owned firm attending right now.
No way.
No way. Who are?
Please reveal yourself. If you're on the mic.
I think that's me.
That's you,
Yep.
brother Chris.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's very great to have you. Would you be open for a firm crawl one day? Or?
A firm crawl? I mean, you're going to come down and visit me?
Yeah.
Would you like to
yeah.
introduce yourself, Chris, to everyone who don't know you?
Sure. I was kind of hoping to know who all of you all were, too. I put that in the chat. I'm Chris McCoy. I'm an architect in Lexington, Kentucky. I've had my own firm, McCoy Architects, since 97. And I design masjids. I've designed a lot of masjids. Actually, that's most of what I do. So,
Allah.
That's amazing.
We should have a tour for sure.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you or visit if you would love to have us.
this is the world I live in. This is what I do. So
Amazing. Yeah.
my wife's an architect too. She's off camera, and she just hired a Muslim architect
From Michigan.
from Michigan. Oh, a Michigan architect.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we're actually a married couple of architects. Although I have my own firm and she works for another firm. So
Okay, yeah.
how many of you all are architects versus students versus maybe have graduated but not an architect yet? That's what I want to know. Who's doing all this talking?
We have a big range of people here, right? So we have bachelor degrees students, we have grad students, we have professionals. We don't have licensed architects yet, but
I'm on my way, brother Chris.
My way.
I have
Same here.
Glad to hear it. Please get there.
Yes.
Professors.
we have a professor. We have it's a big community.
Yes.
Right, I see a lot of film fest. Okay, presentations and workshops. That's pretty cool. Okay, can you scroll down a little bit? Let's see.
Yeah. I'm learning Western architecture.
That's a big one.
That's why.
The Muslim architecture books. So on our website right now. Remember the bookshelf that we're trying to create. So if you go to our website, there is a tab, bookshelf for ASMA. So we're combining. We're trying to make a very big library, Muslim architecture library that has all the books. And if you have any recommendation, please send us. Right.
I want to drop in and make a small note as well. A lot of what has been submitted here, things like competition and symposia, film, like cultural lectures. I think these are really, really important, and these are some of the things that we've had in mind as well.
Yes.
But to develop these, we need we need manpower, right? We need people to come and sit down and brainstorm and think and organize these things. So our research committee is open. We have a few people who have joined and who have begun the work of making the Asma's bookshelf, as we mentioned. So everybody's welcome to join. We need as many hands as possible to really make Asma kind of a powerhouse of, like we said, growth, knowledge, advocacy.
Also, would love to plug this conference effort. If anyone's interested in planning symposiums or looking into research or have like inviting people for lectures, I think this is a great way to like combine all of those things, but also we'd like to do them as like separate events and stuff.
So sign up for
sign up for committees.
All right,
and join the
next
WhatsApp and talk.
participation right here. Okay, so next question would be.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, should be okay. Do you guys have any other chapters in different schools? So right now we're still.
I'll answer that question.
Okay, well, okay.
So basically, we're at a moment where so ASMA is an interesting organization where we have a very diverse group of people. I want to allude to the pyramid that Kareem had a few slides ago, where there's a lot of people who are in the students category or young professionals, and then there's fewer who are established architects, and there's not that many who are retired, obviously. But there is a pyramid, and so because of the largest one being the bottom, the student population, right? Like when I was at U of M 10 years ago, and there was like 2 Muslims in the entire school.
I mean, not long ago, when I graduated too, there was like less than 5 people in here.
And this is like an entire room full of people, and there's like what, half, a quarter of the people, the Muslims that go here. So anyway, my point is that we're working on how we can allow the organization to have these chapters throughout the country. We have a lot of pockets that are developing, and so we're working. Actually, Mira and I have a pending meeting to discuss how we're going to set these up, because it's a logistical thing, it's like a legal thing, it's a financial thing. We have to have all those systems in place. But I'm glad that you asked that, and it's very important that you asked that, because now we know that, hey, look, University of Maryland, they have a lot of Muslims there, and they're looking to get a chapter started there as well.
Yeah, I would love to add to that. If anyone has like a pretty big group, even if it's like 3 or 4 people that are Muslim in your school, and you would like to, start an ASMA chapter, if you're interested in that, reach out to us through the WhatsApp. You can reach out to any of the admins in that group, because we'd love to, help out with starting to build that community. Yes.
Right. Our question in here, and I see a lot of people has already answered. Which of these do you consider the greatest benefits ASMA could offer? So we have, I'm going to read them from Architectural Research. A platform visibility for Muslim architects researchers, okay? Advocacy, Muslim community, Islamic heritage education. Right, oh, whoa, advocacy, platform.
Speaking of a Muslim community and professional network, we have a few notes here from chat. Rama asks, anyone else who did planning or landscape? Raise your hand if you did. We have in our board, Sister Aya Abul Hayjan, who did urban design as well as architecture. Hello, she's waving her hand over there. Yes. And Hayam Abu Rob, I hope I pronounced this right. Who you guys have? Do you have to? Oh yeah, we answered this question about the chapters in schools. Does any architect need licensed engineers to work with? Why don't we make small sharing coming from Muhammad Al-Fahil, who is a licensed electrical engineer, joining us for an architectural event. It's great.
That's honestly a great. It's great to have like those connections across industries.
All right, we got a few more responses here.
Yes, Muslim community. That's what we're trying to achieve, right? That's the biggest thing that we really want for you guys to feel professional network.
Yeah, it's very even.
It's very even.
It's really interesting that it's so even.
Right. Islamic heritage education. Maybe.
I'm actually kind of glad to see.
Yeah.
It's good to know that all of these things are wanted.
Yep. Right. Let's get to the next question.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So like speaking to like architectural research, like when you guys did that report about the masjids in Gaza,
Yes.
like when I saw that on like the normal Detroit page, I thought that was like the most powerful thing. So like, is that kind of part of like your research committee, like doing stuff like those sort of projects?
That would be,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
that would be one of the projects, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
actually, yeah, a big goal of it was to build on that and to do
Yes.
further research.
yeah, that's really amazing.
All right, would you attend a national conference on matters relating to architecture in Islam, the Muslim architecture community, and other related topics? So as we said, we're planning a big conference, hopefully by next year, and we would love to hear your input on that. What would you want, if you want to attend a conference, a national conference, what would you want to? Okay, first is like yes or no. Okay, yes,
no, or no.
all of them.
Really? I better see all of you there.
Oh, let's take all the names. Let's take all the names. Like, okay, oh, maybe.
Oh, there's a one maybe.
Oh, now we're being
There's a
honest.
maybe.
Oh, someone said.
There used to be a few national conferences similar to this. in the
Really?
past.
Do you know what they were called?
And what happened?
Yeah, what happened? Yeah,
right.
why'd they die out?
They didn't die out. The brother who put them on passed away. He died tragically.
Oh no.
They were out of MIT in Boston, and then there was one in Georgetown College, but these were years ago. So
Okay, we're bringing them back then.
Yes.
Taking the lead, inshallah. All right, so next.
Wait,
They'd actually
maybe.
look to look into
Maybe
to
some-
see how they were.
Oh, that's a
To
good
like
point.
into how they were.
Oh, yeah.
Started, who's part of them, if they'd like to join a new one.
Yeah.
That would be a really great thing for the conference committee to
Yeah.
look into, like researching the conferences
What
that
was
already
the best?
exist. Yeah, precedents.
That's pretty good. Thank you.
Do any of the maybes want to share like what would stop you? Or is it just a time thing?
Or traveling purposes.
Traveling, money? I don't
Putting them on the spot.
Yeah. It's not personal. It's not personal.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, Adi. Efforts with the community of Arab and Green architecture educator in North America. Oh, wow. I think the government went to. Oh, that's very powerful. Where's
That's
my people?
incredible.
There's only about 50 full-time faculty members in architecture school. I support and thank you so much, Ali. We would love to be part of this group.
Yeah, and let us know if there's anything else we can do to support you in that,
Yes, please.
like collecting people.
Like, let's read the questions on our.
I just wanted to give a special welcome to Professor Ahmed K. Ali, who has put this comment in, and we'd love to continue this conversation.
Thank you, Kareem, for the invitation. And I was about to sign off because I have to go and pick up my daughter. But thank you. I see the energy and it looks like you guys doing an amazing job. So I support you from the academic world. I look forward to see how can I help you guys. I'll try to put the link for the group, the educator group, in the chat, and also the link for the report, the ACSA report, because I think you need to look at it as well. But I would say that we, as an educator, we have not been as active as you are, and it's very difficult to get architectural professors to meet once a month, even though there is no agenda, and I just wanted to get everybody just to meet and know each other. So maybe with your energy that you can help us doing this, and then we can maybe work together. But thank you again for the invitation, Kareem. And Kareem, are you still with Henry Evans? Is that right?
Yes, I am with Hanberry. We rebranded once and twice after you left. It was what, 2009? I joined in 2022. It's a really small world, isn't it? That we were able
you
to.
know that I used to work for them, and they're
Yes, yeah.
yeah. So a lot of good memory, almost like 20 years ago. But
Amazing. Yeah, we still have a lot of the leaders there from that time.
anyway, thank you. I'll put the links in the chat, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining.
Jazak-
Thanks.
Jazakallah khairan, Professor
Very
Ali.
good.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thanks. Salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Right, let's go to our next question. with the
Do you
theme is, I don't know,
Alright.
wait.
Oh,
Before we
sorry.
move on, question from the chat. PM is asking, do you guys collaborate with other student orgs from different schools? If you want to talk a little bit about chapters and what we're
Just address that, right?
No, I think this question is asking about the collaborations that we do. So, and I know why Hiam is asking actually, because Hiam is a co-president of the Future Architects of the Middle East at the chapter that is at the University of Maryland. And it's through that organization actually that I invited them and their members to ASMA, to our town hall today. The answer is yes, we do, and actually we would love to, and we have. With Noma, we made that collaboration. We did another. Mira, remember the NC Noma, right? So we did like a
Yeah.
panel. We did a.
That was in April.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was something else too. There was another organization.
VA Noma and MC Noma.
And then we did the Gaza project with Detroit Noma.
Okay, so the answer is yes.
And we're very open to more. So it just happens to be that we
100%.
have collective we have people in Michigan and we have people in Virginia, but we're definitely looking forward to more collaborations.
Right. Have you seen the Gaza archive?
Whoa, what? No.
No, we haven't.
Has anyone seen the Gaza GIS archive?
Is this coming in also from either the Beirut Urban Lab or from what's it called, the other one, forensic architecture? Is it from one of those two?
Some of them are, yeah. There's the humanitarian data exchange. I'm trying to find it, and there's Palestine Open Maps, and it's basically just a whole bunch of maps and overlaid. Some of it's topography, but it's GIS data about both Gaza and no. But you mentioned that, so I wondered if you also worked with a lot of the metadata.
Technical difficulties, I don't think I could share, but if you could share with us a link, Rahma, then we'd be able to share that resource with the rest of the community on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Thank you, Ramo.
Thank you.
All right, so I've seen a lot of people that they are excited for the national conference, and as Mira said, I better see you there. All right, so chapters, travel programs, and the last thing was something else. Okay, I will turn it over to Tasneem Abayash, who's on Zoom for the rest of the questions. Tasneem, are you still there?
Oh, whoops.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So how can ESMA play a role in encouraging more young Muslims to study architecture and other adjacent design disciplines? I would love to hear your opinion.
And that's a perfect opportunity to unmute and speak or give us a short reply in the chat or in here on the Menti, but mainly on the Menti, of course, because that's the data gathering part of it.
But yeah, feel free to speak up if you would like.
Design workshop.
Hey guys,
That's pretty
can you
good.
guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, I'm Noor Awadala, by the way. So I have two siblings, and the first one already graduated from architecture like myself, and my sister now she's doing architecture. So I feel like if you want to encourage them, just be yourself and do architecture, and then everyone will follow you, basically. But yeah, thank you guys so much for this beautiful organization. I'm so happy that I finally got to see one of the meetings.
We're very happy to have you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna jump off because I have a book club to go to actually.
Oh, interesting.
With a Muslim
great.
group, which is really nice as well. But yeah, I just want to say hi.
Plug ESMA in case there are Muslim architects in there that you don't,
I
Well,
got you.
All right. Thank you for joining. Assalamu alaikum.
I just one question. So you guys do this monthly, or how's it gonna be? The town hall, because this is the first time of the town hall, right?
Yes, this is our first town hall, but we do have monthly events.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everything.
You're
I
welcome.
was really hoping.
I'm sorry. I just want to say if you join our WhatsApp group, you're gonna get all the announcements every month. So
Yes.
that's where we mostly post everything, and then on Instagram too.
Awesome. I'm on the WhatsApp group. I just need to follow Instagram for sure as well. Thank you guys.
See you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Then we'll go to med school. What's the best one yet?
Oh, nice. We got some good answers here.
Don't go to med
Some
school.
allowed?
Love that.
Don't go to med school. Did someone go to med school and then switch to architecture?
This one is really interesting to me. The salaries. I just want to say something. That salaries kind of stigma that we have about the profession isn't actually quite accurate. If you know what I mean. Like, I have an engineer friend here in the community, and he had mentioned to me like his salary was relative to the amount of work he had to do. So by working like 60 to 80 hours a week, he would be getting a much higher salary than the average young emerging engineer would be getting. But otherwise, if you're working like 40 hours a week as an engineer, you'd be getting a salary around what an architect would be making, what an emerging architectural designer would be making. A little bit higher, of course, but it doesn't mean that difference is so staggering that it's a way to kind of be discouraged from attending architecture school. So I think it's advocacy for the profession in general, not only just for the profession from the Muslim perspective, because from the sense of like the global scale, we do need more architects. We need more design thought to put into the urban environments that have been absolutely decimated by urban renewal, specifically in the United States, is what I'm thinking of. And some of those Western models that have been exported to the Middle East, right? I'm from Egypt, and urban development in Egypt is taking these same patterns that have been taking in the 70s here in the United States. So I think it's a matter of just unlearning some of those weird thoughts about the profession.
Can you scroll down? I just want to see the rest there.
Yeah.
Who's our parents? Architecture is as prestigious as engineering.
Yeah.
I can share my personal story of applying to architecture school. As I was in pre-med at Wayne State, and I applied to Michigan's architecture program behind my mother's back, and I got in. And then still until the end of my undergrad, she was still convinced I was gonna do architecture and then gonna also do pre-med and then do medical school afterwards.
You told me that.
I was pre-med away too. That's
Okay, no lying to parents here. I'm a parent here.
Oh!
Wait, but brother Chris, I'll tell you, I did it with my dad's help. My father was the one who encouraged me. So I did it with him.
I understand the pressure to go to med school. I hear it from others, but do what you want, but be clear about it to your parents. Most of you all are young, so sorry. I'm in the upper tiers of the pyramid, so we have children in college. So
ask them sincerely what their major. No, I'm just kidding. Here's one I wanted to highlight: mentorship. We do have a mentorship program. We do have a mentorship program that you can sign up to either be a mentee or a mentor. And we're accepting mentees and mentors throughout the year. And you could sign up whenever you'd like, and we'll get matchups as they kind of develop, and we're able to find them, inshallah. So you can go to the Linktree, which has both of those signups directly in there.
All right. So how can ESMA make an impact on the larger architectural scale or industry? Sorry.
ArcDaily type database. Okay.
That'd be awesome.
For architecture.
Yeah.
I would do that.
There is a resource that I'm not sure if you all know about, but it's called ArcNet. And I think it was founded by MIT's like Aga Khan program for Islamic architecture. But they specifically highlight like Islamic projects. So a great thing to look into. I'll
Yeah.
I think it's, I'm not sure if it's .com or .org, but that's what it's called.
I imagine if you Google it, it'll take you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
But something like Art Daily that highlights.
Mhm.
I'm excited for competitions.
Yeah, competition.
Then, you know, a lot of people has mentioning they want competition, and I'm like really excited about hosting some
I'm
competition.
actually interested in hearing what your thoughts are about that. If anybody is interested in competition, like why did you mention that you would like to see a competition organized by ASMA? We'd love to know from you.
Oh, that was me. Sorry, I'm driving, so I cannot type.
Hello.
But hi, my name is Hayam. I am a student at the University of Maryland. I'm also the president of FAME, Future Architecture in the Middle East. I wrote competition because I really like the ideas of competitions and how you can host something that can gather people, but also challenge them. I'm from Palestine, and in Palestine, like my friends, the architecture majors do like bridge competition where they do a bridge and put weight on it, and the one that stands like win. So I feel like this is something interesting that you can like create like an community, but also having fun and learning. Like it's something that makes everything together, and you also challenge yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, yeah. I think this is a great opportunity for students and for professionals too.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great way to build community rather than, you know, stronger than just like having multi events, like working more collaboratively.
Is there any Muslims?
And Free Palestine.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a lovely chat that just came in from Mohammed.
Professor Mohammed Ismail, if you're still on, we'd love to hear a quick intro or a hello from you before you drop off. If not, I can say
Sure. Salam, everybody. I was
trying
to be discreet with my exit, and Taha had to call me out. It's so lovely to meet you all. I weirdly know quite a few of you, which is fantastic, and I have been interested in learning more about ASMA, and I ran into Taha last week in Baltimore at a NOMA event. So thank you for the reminder of this and all the work you all are doing. And as was mentioned, I'm an assistant professor at the University of Virginia, also a graduate student, and it's just amazing to be in a room where there's more than one Muhammad in architecture. So thank you for that. And yeah, like I said, I'll try my best to keep up with what's going on, and I'll look forward to following up. Unfortunately, I have some work I need to do tonight, so I have to head out. But thank you again for the invitation. Ma'asalam, and I'll see you all soon. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Salam alaikum. Thank you so much for joining. Jazakallah khair.
Ma'asalam. So good to see y'all. Bye.
Yeah.
So now that he's gone, I can say a couple of things. He's actually a very fascinating person. He's doing a lot of really impactful research at the University of Virginia, and he's won several grants and fellowships. And I think that something like that is very inspiring for a couple of reasons. I think a lot of people who go into architecture end up sort of they become sort of architect developers or builders, and they do it, or real estate people, and it ends up being sort of a money thing. But you know, those people who are in the kind of forefront of academia, of research and knowledge and design thinking, we're very underrepresented in that area. So he's an inspiration for me. So we have a comment here on the screen. Maybe ASMA shouldn't have a larger impact or impact on the larger architectural industry. And whoever submitted this, I think this is a fascinating thought, and I want to hear a little bit more.
That's me. I didn't quite know what to write. I think it should benefit the members and the people that's part of, and therefore serve the broader community. I don't know that ASMA would. It doesn't seem to me that it needs to serve the broader community specifically, if that makes any sense. Because my focus is on community, making connections, educating people, those kind of things. And then those people make the impact. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yeah,
sure.
I think we're also thinking the same thing as we're asking the question. You know, how can we empower our members in a way that they're more productive and more knowledgeable within the field as they practice?
Like the AIA benefits architects and has advocacy and subgroups and things like this. This could easily be a subgroup within the AIA, or it could be within ISNA as well, but not specifically. I guess an organization like this would seem to serve best the people that are in it or the people connected to it. Not trying to impact architecture itself, I don't think. I don't know. The history and the stuff like that could, but it's just my opinion. So to me, the greatest value is the community and the connections you make.
That's really interesting perspective. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Jazakallah khair. To me, I think one aspect of Western architecture that's kind of, well, okay, let me put it this way. I think our principles, our religious principles, can have a role on the built environment as a whole. Right. So if we kind of treat those issues that we all face every day within the architectural realm, sustainability, right? Community connections, altruism, right? All of those are principles to me that some of which are really kind of just missing from the discourse generally. And it feels like sustainability is kind of this kind of like word that gets thrown around, and nobody's really trying to as hard as they can to meet those standards in order to avoid a catastrophe that is already at our doorstep. So I think we should just, like, as a community, try to find innovative ways to act on our intentions, to renew our intentions as designers in the field with inspiration from our faith. And that way we can better influence the built environment in general without necessarily going into the realm of, like, how are we going to implement this element and that element from architectural history, this pattern and that pattern. If you watch the lecture that Sister Mariam Abu Hadid, the Egyptian researcher and architect who joined us from Egypt that I mentioned earlier, she is also kind of speaking about that in her own ways, not necessarily in the terms that I'm speaking of, but she's kind of pointing to the ideas about how we can borrow from our own architectural history to influence the larger built environment. And I think that was absolutely fascinating. But I do agree with your sentiment, of course, that this influence can only come in unison and come with numbers and come by influencing each other and have that sense of community that will then have a benefit on the built environment. But that's the sort of knowledge that we have to gain and renew in a Western perspective.
Thank you for sharing that, Kareem. Can we for the sake of time, is it okay if we move on to the next question?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of which.
Yeah. How can ESMA make an impact on the wider Muslim community?
Just to clarify, this is more about, Muslims that are not necessarily involved in architecture in any way.
Rama in chat says, I think architecture as a whole needs a Me Too movement. I have seen so much racism and elitism in the field and ableism and a refusal to pay new students.
It was just like kind of a trend that I saw, like also just like whose designs are being like prioritized or why something's designed in a specific way, even like which architects we like to study. I don't know why so many professors, I mean, I know why, but I'd like a lot of professors are very attached to like Le Corbusier and Baha and things like that. And, and they'll kind of brush over some of their problematic elements like it didn't affect their designs, if that makes sense. But I don't think that there is a such thing as separating the art and the artist,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also like when I used a lot of things like tiling and maybe this is just unique to my experience. I don't know if anyone else had these experiences. When I was at UF, like a lot of when I would use these types of designs, they'd say, oh, that's like ornamentation, it's lazy. You know what I mean? It's not design. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
Is that like that racist Alan Flos who
Like a little bit, yeah. Like a
criminalized?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they kind of didn't like they kind of didn't like a lot of like traditional designs, a lot of tradition, like unless it was changed in some way, if that makes sense. Or at least that was my experience. Also, the blatant favoritism with a lot of the professors that, you never know, if they just don't like you, or if it's, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, or you're being discriminated against, and then they'll say like an off-color comment, and then you're just like, okay, that was strange, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you still never have concrete evidence, and it feels like you're going crazy. I don't know if this is just my experience, but if anyone else has dealt with that too, you know?
Can I say something about that? Yeah, so there's this like collection of articles written by architects in the Hispanic community and like discriminations that they faced and things that they thought were like they experienced alone and didn't know if any other people in their community had also faced it because nobody talks about it. And I thought it would be interesting to have like maybe there's like a collection of Muslim architects or Muslim students that like a book written by us about our experiences because we experienced it alone and we don't know if anybody else experiences it with us because we don't talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be really powerful. What is?
I have to look for it, but I ran into the author at the AA conference. She was the one that collected all of the other authors and brought the book together. So I'll look into finding who she was.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Because yeah, I think you're right. Like so many times these experiences are shared and like people don't even realize it. So it just feels so isolating. But it's really cool to do something like that.
I wanna actually put Brother Chris on the spot again, because I think you have a lot of interaction in your practice, dealing with the wider Muslim community as an architect. And some of the responses that we've got here deal with masajid, and I just want to hear kind of open-ended question on what your thoughts are on this.
Well, my comment was that encourage Muslim women to join and remain part of masjid building committees is from personal experience. There are a lot of wonderful women here in this committee or this group. I've had, presentations to broader communities about their masjid designs. I've had women come up to me. My mother raised me. My wife is an architect. I am pro-woman. I hear masjid building committees advocate and try to encourage women to join the committee to be a part of the process. They start out as part of the process. And I've designed more masjids than anybody else I know of. And every single time, all the women drop out. They do not see it through. Women do not stay the course. I wish this was so different, but it doesn't happen. The women's voice gets lost because the women are invited, they participate in the beginning, and they don't show up. I don't know why they don't show up. I work for very progressive communities, very women-friendly masjids, very women-friendly groups. Even in my own community, I've encouraged the women who advocate for this, who are on a building committee right now, to just come to the meeting, and they won't come to the meetings. So tell your mother to get involved. Tell somebody to get involved and stay involved. So that's one thing that this could do. We need younger people on these building committees. There's a lot of, it's less so now, but there's more. There used to be for a long time. It was always some older sheikh or older brother that, he was giving the majority of the money. And then, no, I want to be a community project, and we get to hear their voices, but one person's calling the shots. And this is going to tie up too much time, but there's a lot of lessons learned as I've gone from masjid to masjid and committee to committee and group to group, that I could share with you if you ever want to know. But one instant way you can make an impact is encourage more women to be involved and stay involved.
That's great input. Thank you for that.
You said about having, sorry,
No, go ahead.
because like, can I ask if there's like a lot of options for childcare at these things?
No, there's not. I mean, it's a meeting. They usually have building committees always meet in the evenings when everybody's off work or on the weekends.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's no doubt that in some instances, moms have a hard time.
Because there is like the stuff there is like you know how there's like de jure and de facto. So at least I've seen this definitely happening with us. I don't know if it's happened elsewhere. Like a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, we've invited them, but they won't show up." But they don't create either like. And I'm not saying it's on the like for example, where do the children in the masjid, where do they run around? Do they run around the men's section or do they run around the women's section? You know what I mean? Like, who is the person who is the de facto caretaker of children? So who's doing that? You know what I mean? While like everybody else gets to. Or here's another thing: when there's Ramadan and everybody brings, because sometimes my masjid does potlucks. Who's cooking the meals? Who is like while the men are playing, like when everybody's playing jama'ah, when everybody's
both parents,
who's serving the meals? Who's serving them? Who's doing childcare? Who's serving meals instead of praying? You know what I mean? Like things like that. Even all of the community stuff, like when we do Qiyam al-Layl in Ramadan. Again, who is like setting this up? Who's taking care of the family? You know what I mean? So
I understand.
Because I have seen some families where like they're like, oh, we love to let the women work. You know, we don't stop the women from working, but then the men refuse to take up domestic labor. And it's like, okay, I want to be involved. I have a house, but I have a house that I have to clean. I have children I have to feed. I have a job I just got off of. And if no one is going to give services that helps me to do those things, you know, I'm not going to be able, and this doesn't, and for example, and I know I'm mostly speaking about my friends because I'm actually not, I'm not married, but at least this is a constant thing that I've seen with friends of mine who want to do more, but it's not between, you know, it just feels like when you know, stuff keeps being, when stuff is not, when you don't create a place where people have the time or the energy to give, it's not, am I making sense?
Yes, you are, and I actually completely agree with you. But in the course of building a masjid, whoever's on that committee and stuff, it's usually people, you know, that have made arrangements, and women will be involved in the beginning. It's not that women can't be there; it's that that they just don't stick around.
Yeah, but it's hard to sustain, right? Because maybe you'll get them to agree, like, oh, I'll take care of the kids this time, or I'll watch people this time, or I'll take care of.
Really, not about the kids. It's usually older folks anyway. Their kids are grown that are involved.
Okay.
And I mean, at least, but that's been my experience. That who has time. That's who, you know. This is who a masjid chooses to put on their building committee. So it's not something the designer gets to control. I just know that the women's voice is missing. It'll start out, but it is sadly missing. And it is wanted by many men that remain on these committees. So if there's, I just wish it was there because it is a huge hole. I don't know how many times I've had some man tell me how the kitchen needs to be designed. And I have to ask him, are you the one preparing the meals? Are you the one talking to the caterer who's going to bring stuff in, you know? And, you know, I've worked in a restaurant. I have an opinion about that, but it needs to be a collection of voices. And there is a huge half of the Muslim community is not represented on these committees, even when conditions are right such that they can be there. So, because I've been lectured to by many women about you need to have more women on these committees. You're just designing for all these men. I don't choose who's on it. I'm the architect, you know. So, I want women to be there. So, you know, it's just it's just really missing. It's a huge hole.
Thank you so much for this lively conversation. This is amazing. And I think, masjid design, there's a recurring theme actually over in the previous question about like building more masjid for the architecture community. I heard an opinion about like having design standards for masajid in the United States, which is kind of like really, really loose right now. So jazakumullah khair. For the interest of time, we're gonna continue receiving responses for this question about dues. Tasneem, take it away.
Yeah, so if you were paying a membership fee, what would you hope to benefit from ESMA? What are some things that we can incorporate? Like, we would love to hear from you guys. We have some great answers. I love merch.
I put that. I love merch.
Maybe rephrase the question to get some more thoughts. What would make ASMA worth it if you were paying a due or paying dues, whatever it's called?
Oh, throw food in there.
Retreats on urbanism, scholarships, yes.
Grants. Swag.
Isn't that merch, or is that?
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I just wanted to say it twice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. ARE study groups. I'm also gonna suggest like ARE material discounts and stuff like that.
Classes.
Networking, jobs, those are great.
That's awesome. From when Taha asked the question a different way, we got like double the responses. Just cool. More than double now. 27. That's amazing.
Job opportunities.
All right. We're nearing time, I think. So
let's move on to. Okay, so how many folks do you know who would love to hear about this organization, AIM plugin? 1 billion. 6.
oh wow. Awesome.
Wow.
I know 3 other Muslim architects that I already sent this out to, but since they weren't specifically invited, they didn't think to join.
Oh. We'll take note for next time, inshallah.
For those of us that have been doing this for years, I know several other Muslim architects.
Incredible.
They're out there. They're out there.
So if every single one of you knows, well, not every single one of you, every one of those 10 that know 3 to 5 people, if we're gonna average 4 and then assume like a few mutuals, we're gonna see about 40 members, new members on the WhatsApp group. Is that tracking?
Is that fair? Yeah.
Is that yeah? All right.
All right. What was your first impression when you heard of ESMA? Did it meet or exceed your expectations?
Assalamu alaikum.
Youngest. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My name is Mohammed. I just would like to answer that question. I'm having trouble with my camera, but finally it's working right now. I would like to answer that question. I didn't have expectation, but I was really excited because when I went to school, I was literally the only Muslim there, and it was really difficult even trying to use some of the ideas or the mindset that I have with my design. And switching between a school, going to another school, maybe I had 2 other Muslims. I was so happy with just 2. So how does it feel to me? It's actually being in a community with just architects that we actually can have a connection in the educational level and the spiritual level as well. That's my answer. Thank you.
Well, thanks for sharing, Muhammad. And I don't know if I missed it, but where did you study or what state were you in?
I'm in New York. But yeah, I have interest to come to Michigan for grad, but I'm still thinking. I've been suggested from my professor they have a good program, and I've been looking into it for a while.
Come to UVA.
There's a really good master's program at the University of Kentucky, but I might be biased.
Oh.
on the topic of vouching for ourselves, if you have a LinkedIn account, actually Muhammad just suggested this for me. if you have a LinkedIn account and would like to connect with others who are here today, please share them in chat. Please feel free. And if others are encouraged to open chat as well, and then connect that way.
Some of us refuse to get on WhatsApp, so I may put my email in there.
Of course.
I can't get on WhatsApp. Too many Daisy clients will just light me up on it.
Well,
important for the younger generation, but oh my
How
god.
you design messages without being on WhatsApp is actually very impressive, I will say.
What, designing messages without being on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
What I call a deliberate act. It's an effort.
Good for you.
I'm not off WhatsApp, but I tell them that I'm off and I'm not really there. So thank goodness they came out with a desktop app, but oh my gosh.
Well,
that's a different conversation.
Yeah, it is. This is an amazing note to end on. And the last one was really fitting. It says overdue. So we are really excited to bring you this organization. We are so happy that this level of excitement is shared among all of us. Thank you all so much for making it to the American Society for Muslims and Architecture's first town hall. We'd love to have you connect with us through WhatsApp, through our socials. Again, you'll find all of those links on the link tree. And I'll put this QR code up again one last time. And again, it's so great to have you today. Jazakumullah khairan, everybody. And since it is overdue, and since I think the sentiment might, be shared among the Muslim community, and now that we're growing from the base and there's real evidence for this, given, the numbers of students, I'll quote Taha for, being, I think, one of two Muslim architecture students at Michigan in his time, and now look how many there are in just this room. So let's build it up. Let's work together at a collective level and really give it some time and effort, and renew to our intentions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help the Muslim communities prosper within the profession and other spatial design disciplines, as well as the entire Muslim community here in the United States and across the globe. And may Allah liberate Palestine. May Allah keep us united. May Allah enlighten our paths, and may Allah help us and guide us, renew our intentions. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. If anybody has any final words to say or thoughts to share, please feel free to do so in those last few minutes.
Is there a way to get the links that people are dropping in the chat, for the people that are here, an email or something?
We'll share. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, one update that we have is we're going to start sending out newsletters, inshallah. So if everybody signed up on the newsletters, that's another way you can get some of this information, some of the updates, some of these resources.
Yeah, so go to that link tree, and you'll find everything you need for signing up for the newsletter. Check out our website too.
Is there a database of active members that are, or is it just the WhatsApp that's the record?
Well, we have different, if you count up all of our different social media accounts, we'll have WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll start YouTube soon, inshallah. We have maybe a couple hundred people plugged in.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering, because I know with NOMA, I can see active Detroit members and connect them from that there. So I was wondering.
We have metrics. We see how many people visit our website. We see how many people are interacting with LinkedIn, kind of back end things we're able to look at all this stuff. We're going to, one of the reasons why establishing a list of dues paying members is going to be important is we have an idea of what how strong our membership is. Right? Aside from the kind of financial side of it, we're able to sustain the organization and grow and provide more things. We want to eventually build a regular roster of people who are participating and giving back.
All right. Rahma says, can I ask something? Of course.
So a friend of mine is currently, she just graduated from landscape architecture, and she wants to work in the States, but the problem is it's because she's an international student means she has to find someone to sponsor her. Maybe like I don't know if this is something we could do in the future, maybe, or if it's something that a lot of people in our community are struggling with. But like we could talk about, or we could have like a course on how to get sponsorships or something like that.
Great idea. Is that something that anyone can do, or does it have to be like a firm or a professor?
I actually have some experience with that with some friends, and it have to be like a firm, a big company, and the person have to be like with a quite good skills to convince that company to do it, because it's takes a like a long process of doing it for the company actually. I could share more. I have a friend of mine, a friend of friend actually, that she's an international student, and she got, I think, a month ago, an offer from the big firm in New York, and they just was discussing with her that process, but I hadn't really heard much of an update on that. But if there is an interest about that topic, I would definitely try to either get more knowledge or get the person to one of the meetings so she can talk about her experience for everyone.
That would be incredible.
I know a Muslim-owned structural engineering firm in Toledo that hires a lot of Muslims, is looking for Muslim engineers, and would likely give back to the community. It's from a Palestinian brother. So someone reach out to me.
What's the name of that firm?
A&A Engineering.
A&A Engineering?
A&A Engineering. You all are in, you're not in Detroit, right? Where are you?
Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor. Anybody's been to Toledo, Masjid Saad, they go there. They're close to near Masjid Saad. So Masjid Saad has a big school addition on the back end of it. It's really plain. That's where I've been going for the last few years. It's now done. Alhamdulillah. So
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other closing thoughts, comments, questions? All right. Well, thank you all so much for attending and for participating. We really value your input, and we're really looking forward to continuing to shape ESMA in a way that benefits all of you. So please stay involved, follow us on all our social medias, join our WhatsApp, or stay connected with us in whatever way you prefer. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. And if you have any more questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or if you're in person, just come up and ask.
And hope to see you in our next event.
Yes. You too.
Alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, everybody.